Hi, I'm Froggy, and this is Pitching Room. Oftentimes, we see scenes where characters come together to discuss an issue. Good dialogue scenes don't just move along the plot, but they also build up characters and the world they live in. To create tension, you need friction, and to create friction, you need a moving force and an opposing force. This creates an elephant in the room and forces every character to react accordingly. Here, we see a scene from Game of Thrones. King Robert wants Daenerys dead, and Ned Stark opposes it. The four advisors are to counsel Ned. Littlefinger, Varys, Pycelle, and Renly are commanded to do the same thing, but they each speak differently. It's not what you say, but how you say it. Pycelle justifies the assassination with statistics.
I bear this girl no ill will, but should the Dothraki invade, how many innocents will die? How many towns will burn?
Varys appeals to Ned with empathy.
I understand your misgivings, my lord. Truly, I do. It is a terrible thing we must consider, a vile thing. Yet we who presume to rule must sometimes do vile things for the good of the realm.
Littlefinger.
When you find yourself in bed with an ugly woman, best close your eyes, get it over with. Cut her throat. Be done with it.
This short scene builds up the players in Game of Thrones and gives the audience an idea on where each character stands morally. More than that, dialogue scenes can build up the world the characters live. For example, in Lord of the Rings, each race comes together to overcome the forces of Mordor. This iconic scene does much more than the creation of the Fellowship. This scene tells us about the threat of Mordor. Humans are easily tempted. Gondor has been at war with Mordor. Aragorn is Isildur's heir and exiled king of Gondor. Legolas and Aragorn knew each other. Dwarves have an impulsive nature. The threat of Sauron and its forces. Elves and dwarves hate each other. The relationship of each race is estranged and deteriorated. Hobbits care about friendship more than anything, and everyone comes together for a greater cause. This scene brilliantly builds up the world in Lord of the Rings and sets up the payoffs later in the film. For example, Boromir falls to the temptation of the ring. Legolas and Gimli overcomes racial barriers to become friends, and Aragorn becomes king. But in terms of dialogue writing and roundtable scenes, 12 Angry Men is the most iconic film in this regard. Just by the dialogues, the script is able to build the personalities of the 12 Angry Men. 12 jurors have to decide if the slum boy is guilty of murder. 11 of the jurors believe the case is straightforward and has predetermined that the boy is guilty. Juror 8 votes not guilty, and an intense situation ensues. We are not given names to these characters. All we know are 12 strangers come together for jury duty. The film builds its character cleverly through two things: mannerism and dialogue. From the start, we see Juror 8 being introspective and looking out the window in deep thoughts. Juror 1 takes charge of the process by preparation. Juror 7 is more concerned about his state of comfort and trivializes the affair. Juror 4 reads his newspaper and appears to be detached. When the group does a preliminary vote, we see 6 jurors raise their hands quickly. The other 5 follow slowly and in an unsure manner. Even before the deliberating starts, the film sets up the characters quickly and efficiently. More than mannerism, the dialogues are incredible at building these unknown characters. Juror 12 comes up with an idea for the 11 jurors to convince why Juror 8 is wrong, and a situation similar to the earlier Game of Thrones example comes up. Juror 1 takes a neutral stance. Juror 2 has no confidence.
Well, it's hard to put into words. I just think he's guilty. I thought it was obvious from the word go.
Juror 3 is opinionated and personal. Juror 4 is rational and relies on facts. Juror 5 is hiding something.
Can I pass it?
Juror 6 is respectful but principled. Juror 7 is impatient and sleazy.
Can talk here forever, it's still the same thing. This kid is 5 for 0.
Juror 8 is the only man being fair and acting in good conscience.
We're talking about somebody's life here. We can't decide it in 5 minutes, supposing we're wrong.
Supposing we're wrong.
Juror 9 is wise and observant.
Yeah, it was just that I looked at him for a very long time. Seemed the jacket was split, under the shoulder. Oh, did you notice that? I mean, to come to court like that.
Juror 10 is a prejudiced bigot.
Listen, I've lived among them all my life. You can't believe a word they say. You know that. I mean, they're born liars.
Only an ignorant man can believe that.
Juror 11 is polite. And finally, Juror 12 is indecisive. Now that the characters are all set up, the payoff comes when Juror 8 slowly convinces everyone that the boy is not guilty. Juror 8 appeals to Juror 4 with facts, reveals Juror 10's prejudice.
I'd like to ask you something. You don't believe the boy's story. How come you believe the woman's? She's one of them, too, isn't she?
And draws out Juror 3's personal feelings.
Ever since you walked into this room, you've been acting like a self-appointed public avenger. You want to see this boy die because you personally want it, not because of the facts. You're a sadist.
Even though the majority of the film takes place in one setting, there isn't a single dull moment. The dialogues, mannerism, and acting carry the story spectacularly. So next time a roundtable scene comes up, let's pay attention and remember, it is not what you say, but how you say it.